All right, today I'm going to show you how I draw my big forehead alphabet. If you need help with basics, check out my previous video on block letter styles. Here we go. I'm going to first draw the A in pencil, so I know where it's going on the paper. Then I'll draw a wide outline around it. You don't have to use pencil, but you can. From here on out, I'll just be using my acrylic gel pens. If you remember from basics, I wait to draw in the crossbar. I like to fill in my letter and see where I need to smooth things out, make things bigger, etc. The crossbar is going down low. Why? Because of the big forehead. Once you're happy with the A, let's move on to the B. Many letters have a spine on the left side. Instead of boxing that in like we've done in the past, I'm going to draw what looks like the top of an exclamation mark. Big on top, kind of smaller on the bottom. When we do the curves for the B, remember, big forehead. We want the top to be bigger than the bottom. When we draw his little window, we're going to make that small. And at the bottom, big forehead acquired. I'm going to fill this in and then we'll do the same on the bottom. I think I should probably stop saying bottom so much. Again, if you see places you want to adjust, now's the time. Okay, C. I like to have a starting C to draw around. When we draw the border on this one, we want it big and chunky up top and smaller at the bottom. I think this one is really fun. We will revisit this letter again shortly, so you'll get another practice session in. All right, D is like B, only easier. We will draw the exclamation mark spine first. This time, we only have to draw one curve. Same thing here. We want the little window to his soul at the bottom of the letter. I don't know why I like my letters with big foreheads, but I do. I think they're adorable. E is my favorite one. Yay! Start off with the exclamation mark. The top is going to be chonky. The bottom is not. I usually fill this in before I add the middle line. Once you've added that, though, you can even go chonkier up top if you're feeling it. I will sometimes also thicken up that spine if it's looking too thin to go along with the rest of the letter. F is the exact same. Exclamation mark spine, then we add the big old forehead top, just like the E. Sometimes it's nice to match the sizes of the foreheads on similar letters like these to make your alphabet more cohesive. I'm going to add the little line at the bottom, and then we'll move on to G. It's time for that C again. When I'm doing G, I like to start with a C. Make sure you leave enough room in the middle for the diving board. If you were looking for technical terms, you are most definitely in the wrong place. It looks like my G could use a little more oomph up top, so I'm going to round that out a little. When I'm happy with it, that's when I add the little diving board into the center. It will probably be fairly skinny if you have the space for it, though. Sometimes I think it's fun to make it a little thicker at the end than it was at the beginning. Okay, H. I feel like there are two ways to do H. I'm going to show you the double forehead on this one, and then when we get to N, I'll show you the other way. So, 2 lines, 2 exclamation marks without the dots. No dots today. Hopefully that's been clear all along. Then we'll add the crossbar towards the bottom of the letter, just like we did on the A. I think I'm going to add just a little thickness to these, and then I'll be ready to move on to I. I is easy. It's just the exclamation mark. Here's where I'd put the dot on top of this and make it a lowercase I, but we'll keep all of these uppercase for now. Okay, J. If you're stuck with where to start, draw your letter and just go from there. Draw that outline. The top of the J is going to be just like that exclamation mark. It's going to be big and get gradually smaller. Then we can fill it in and see what areas we need to add to. I think I'm going to make the top a little bigger. That looks pretty good. And then maybe just make this side a little larger as well. Okay, let's give K a try. First, we draw our exclamation mark. I feel like you already knew that. You're becoming a pro. Truly, I'm going to draw the arm and leg here as a placeholder. It just helps me figure out where I want to go. The top one will be big, so yup, looks like another exclamation mark. The bottom one will be small, just thick enough for the K to stand on. L, you want to take over from here? You know where to start. Exclamation mark, then we just finish up our L down here. I may make the top a little bigger. The worst thing that could happen is we don't like it. Then we draw another one. No biggie. I have never drawn M in this style, so let's see what this ends up looking like. Starting it off like we did the H, 2 exclamation marks next to each other, and we'll fill those in. I'm going to connect them with a little V on top and a slightly bigger V on bottom. I like to flatten out the bottom of that. We'll fill that in. I want to see what that looks like curved. Nope, that's not what I'm going for. We'll add more straight lines under that. Okay, that's pretty cute. I want to show you another way to make this a big forehead letter. Sometimes you can just concentrate on one side of the letter having a big forehead, and that's what we're going to do here. So, skinny on the left, let me clean that up a little. Then we'll do a big forehead on the right side. Oh, it looks like I'm compensating for that small left side. Perfect. We'll fill it in. That's fun. It reminds me of an elephant or hippo or something. I don't know why. Moving on to O. This is probably the easiest one. Draw your O, then draw a small circle towards the bottom of your letter. I will say, make sure you don't draw the circle too small because it tends to shrink a little when you go to fill in the letter. P. P is like B. It just doesn't have that second hump. So if you were looking for more practice, you've come to the right letter. Don't be afraid to really embrace the big forehead and draw your hump super big. Just make sure you show a little leg at the bottom so people don't think it's a D. I think of Q like an O that's been stabbed. So we need an O and then we need a candlestick or lead pipe or rope. Nah, the rope wouldn't work here. Anyway, make sure you draw your inner circle large enough so that the lead pipe doesn't clump together with the rest of the letter. I believe it was Mr. Green in the library. It's a Clue reference. Okay, moving on. R. You already know how to start this one. Draw a P just like before. A lot of these letters are basically repeats, just with an extra arm here or missing a leg there. Once you've gotten your P, add a little leg to the bottom. I always draw mine kicking out. It reminds me of the leg on the K. S is a weird one. Draw an S first so you have something to draw borders around. Remember, bigger borders on top, smaller on the bottom. You don't want to make it look like it's about to topple over though. I like to draw some sort of border and fill it in and then assess the situation from there. I go into it knowing it's going to need a little assistance. Don't be afraid to make the bottom a little bigger on this one. He's allowed to have a big forehead and junk in the trunk. It's our alphabet. We can create it however we like. For T, I'm starting with our beloved exclamation mark. Let's fill that in and then I'll add a top on. I think I'm going to make it a little thicker. I just like to fill it in and see what it looks like. I think that's adorable. Okay, U. I've only ever drawn U with junk in the trunk, never a big forehead, so we'll see if this works. Same method here, larger at the top and then thinner as we get to the bottom. I don't know if I love this one, but I think it's because I'm so used to drawing it a different way. It is fun to mess around with different styles though. Okay, I'm gonna make it thicker at the bottom. So basically U is just big, all around big. I think it matches the other letters though, so we're good. I'm going to draw V the same as N. One skinny side, one big forehead side. I imagine you could do either side big. I've just chosen to match it to my N. So big old forehead is going to be on the right. I'm not sure what this one would look like with both sides big, but I assume it would be similar to the U before we made it thick all over. We are almost done. W is next. I'm going to draw the outside lines first and make those into our exclamation mark shapes. Let's fill those in real quick. Then we do the same thing as the M. Let's draw a V connecting I guess it's an upside down V. And then another one on top. Fill that in, and I'm just going to thicken up the top a little. Yeah, that looks nice and chunky. Okay, X. Draw the X. It's going to be two of our exclamation marks crossing over each other. I like to put long lines on the tops and short lines on the bottom and just connect, 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 and then fill it in. This one kind of reminds me of spotlights shining, like maybe they're shining the bat symbol. If you're looking for Batman, he lives under the M. Really, go look. Okay, Y. I drew out a very sloppy Y as a base here. You're allowed to be sloppy. We're just planning things out. Exclamation mark shapes go on the arms sticking up, and we'll fill those in. The body of the Y is just going to be thin. I try to make it so that the arms kind of start in the same place from the body. Last letter, draw that Z. The top gets the chonky experience. I started out with our exclamation mark and filled that in. And then when I went to do the next part, I realized I kind of wanted the top to be more of a regular old rectangle. It still goes from wider on the left to thinner on the right, just not as extreme as before. Seriously, mess around with the letters, keep adding bits and pieces until you like it. Have fun with it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial on one of my favorite lettering styles. Want early access to future tutorials? Buy a membership to my channel. Thanks so much for watching, and please don't forget to like and subscribe for more.